Let's go back to Judith.
The book of Judith, chapter 5 and verse 17.
So 17, come on.
And whilst they sinned not before their God, they prospered.
Because that's why we went to Deuteronomy 28, to show you what he means here, to show you that they understand that the other nations. They said, look, when they're not sinning against their God, they prosper. Come on.
Because the God that hateth iniquity was with them.
And they even know the characteristic of our God. Our God hates sin.
Hey, let's remember, this was way after what we just read in Deuteronomy.
Yes.
So they keep notes, man.
They keep diligent
notes.
They are wiser than Daniel. They do a diligent search.
Library of Congress, the one in D.C., that thing is filled with meat.
Hey, I'm going to take it a step further. I'm going to take it further, brother. The Vatican has secret vaults in the bottom with books that nobody will ever see.
Hey, why do you think that movie with Tom Hanks was about?
The Da Vinci Code.
The Da Vinci Code and all of that stuff. And now people looked at that as, Masons and all. Nah, man, it's deeper than that, man.
Right.
Yeah, that went over your head, man.
Well, no, and then they subtly throw in the library scene, but it was to go after that symbolism BS that, because I think in the second one, the girl winds up being the seed of Christ or something like that.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, that's what winds up happening in that.
Yeah.
But they have that library there of books that only certain people can see and touch. The Library of Congress is another one. There's books that only people can see and touch.
It's all about books. It's all about books. That's why we use books as a cross-reference. We use the main book, and then we have cross-references to prove that the Bible is a true book and that our enemies know.
Yes,
that this Bible's a true book.
Yes, they know that, and they hide it. So
that's why they had to put them in the Indian schools.
Yes, that's the point. That's why we're bringing it out. Come on.
But when they departed from the way which he appointed them.
So they also understood verses 15 through 68. He says, but when they departed from the way which he appointed unto them, which we just read, is the law, statutes, and commandments. Come on.
They were destroyed in many battles very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs.
Look at that. They knew and understood the curses, and they saw how those things were happening to us historically. Like Cap brought out, this is way after the time of Moses. Come on.
And the temple of their God was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by the enemies.
And that's part of that taking away from the culture. Why would you take down the temple of the God? Why destroy their cities? Means destroy their communities. They were taken by the enemies. It's because they understood, as we're going to continue to read, that if we were for our God, nobody could stand against us. And we got to remember that thing in these last days. That's what we bang on. That's what we focus on.
That's the root of everything right there, man. That's it, bro.
That's the secret sauce.
Man.
Which ain't so secret.
Right. This Bible's the Big Mac, and that's the secret sauce.
That's the secret sauce. Come on.
But now are they returned to their God, and are come up from the places where they were scattered.
Why? Because continually throughout the history that you read in the Bible, we would get into a Gentile state of mind. We would forget ourselves, not to the extent after this last captivity where we forgot we were Israel altogether, but they always, when they came out of Egypt, Moses had to remind them, you better recognize who you are and how special you are. Nehemiah did it. Whenever we came out of a captivity, the law had to be re-given to us. Our heritage had to be re-given to us.
Hey, that's an if-then too.
Yes, it is.
That's an if-then on the flip side. Because he said, what that
sounded like you took a job. That's an if-then on the flip side, butter laid to the bone.
Slap that. Hey, it is, because they're saying if they're doing Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 14, don't mess with them. But if they're doing 28, 15 through 68, we got them.
We got them. It's a wrap. That's exactly what he's saying.
Because they knew that.
Yep.
They saw those writings, bro.
Come on.
That's right.
And have possessed Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country.
Hey, and that's heavy, where it says, so it says, and they have possessed Jerusalem where their sanctuary is. If you look at that spiritually, our sanctuary now is in this Bible, because who possesses Jerusalem now? Right? Remember, Christ said, it will be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So we're not going to have that sanctuary there. Their time is fulfilled when Christ come back on the scene.
Right.
Like Bishop Yalsop say, with his big black feet to tread the wine press.
From Basra.
But so where's our sanctuary found now? In this Bible. Where are the little sanctuaries like you read about in the scripture? In all the different schools where we have brothers and sisters fellowshipping, getting together, getting themselves right. Because this is another thing to point out, that you can't do it alone. God wanted community. You read this here. It says they also destroyed our community. The Indian schools, they pulled them out of, because if you pull the kids out of the community, what happens when the elders die? There's no community left.
Yeah, you got to hit the streets, man. You can't be keyboard warrior, man, with this thing, man. This is all about being on the front lines, man.
Right. Come on.
Bring it out.
And have possessed Jerusalem where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate.
Read on.
Now, therefore, my Lord and Governor.
So now he's like, listen, there's a reason I'm telling you all this. Come on.
If there be any error in this people,
Meaning us not doing what we just read in Deuteronomy 28. Come on.
and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin.
When that's so heavy when he says, let us consider. The maliciousness of that statement. Let us consider that this shall be their ruin. This is how you kill Superman. This is their kryptonite. Let us consider
Exactly what that is.
that in order for us to maintain rule, we got to break down all this cohesion, all this structure, all this order in this community that they're trying to build again. We got to break that thing down. Let us consider.
Let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
Then he's telling you, this is why we have this intel. This is why we must continue to spread this intel down to our generations and our seed after us, because this is how we will maintain our power over the earth.
Hey, you know what our ruin is? Because, Cap, you brought out a good analogy, right? You brought out kryptonite.
Mm-hmm.
Our kryptonite is everything contrary to this Bible.
That's it.
Our kryptonite is living our life according to the world, what the world says
Yep.
is living our life. Our kryptonite is not being happy being a peculiar people.
Yep. That's right. You have to embrace that strangeness.
You
have
gotta
to
embrace that
right.
strangeness.
Hey, Romans 12:2. Be not conformed to this world.
Right. Right.
But be renewed by the renewing of your mind.
Right. Why? Because that'll be your
transformed-
kryptonite.
Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Because that's our kryptonite. Come on, read the next verse.
But if there be no iniquity in their nation,
Just like we read in Deuteronomy 28, they know this. If there be no sin in their, see, this is why they're pushing the Sodom agenda, the LGBTQ. So a video today that they showing kids in a school, first grade, masturbation practices.
oh yeah, it's a little cartoon, yeah.
What kind of craziness is this? They normalize the LGBTQ stuff. Because they want to desensitize you to it. Hey, it's even in video games, man. I actually got around to playing my my PS5 finally after it was collecting some dust for like 6 months. And I'm playing the new Spider-Man game. And one of the chicks in one of the missions is talking about, oh, yeah, go talk to my girlfriend over there. I said, wow.
So here your son will be there, daughter, right?
Yep.
Not subconsciously,
Normalizing it.
And now
Normalizing
they going
the
out
behavior.
doing that thing.
Normalizing the
That's
behavior.
crazy, bro.
Right.
Yo, that's
Hey,
crazy.
And you want to know what's even heavier? My daughter said, what? What did she say? I said,
That means she picked up
she
on that
picked
thing,
up on
bro.
it. Right.
Wow.
Because they started mentioning that a little bit in school now. She's in 3rd grade. She finished 3rd grade. And she started to ask me about the homosexual thing. And she was like, yeah, you know, I don't know if the teacher said something or one of the students said something to her. And I was like, damn. And they put it in the kids shows and everything now.
Right.
That's why their agenda to push representation was so strong, because they want to normalize the behavior. But they black out the Israelites because they don't want to normalize righteous behavior for our people.
Right.
No, they can't.
Go ahead, read.
But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them.
He says, listen, they're Superman.
Wait. You can't go over that. Less what?
Lest their Lord,
Less what?
lest their
Less what?
Lord.
There as in THEIR, as in possessive, as if they only belong to one nation?
Yes.
Oh, boy. That's why that book had to be taken out.
Yep. It says their Lord.
Because he's for the Ammonite.
Because if God's for everybody, you got an Ammonite there and you got an Elamite there.
Hey,
Right.
that goes back.
A
to
Japanese
why-
and a freaking East Indian.
That's why the Indian schools forced them to learn Christianity. Not that they were keeping the right thing as indigenous. They were into Mother Earth and everything like that. But they didn't just want us to worship other things, because that would involve community. It had to be their perversion that had to be worshiped. It had to be their perversion of our Savior, because then they said, oh, there's no chance for them if this is what's brought out there.
Lego.
Israel is back.
We back.
Israel is back.
We
got
back.
the nations running scared because Israel is back. All eyes on us, cause we keeping them laws. When the Lord return, Babylon will fall. Precepts solid. We got them on lock. God's chosen people with Christ as our rock. Israel is back.
We back.
Israel is back.
We back.
You heathen, get ready for our whip to crack.
Damn.